Hello everyone and welcome back to today's English lesson. Today we're looking at another page in Arthur and the Golden Rope. So let's have a little look at today's illustration.
Okay, so here we go. It says, "Hello dear reader and welcome to the Brownstone Family Vault. Within this room lie artifacts of great power and rarity collected over thousands of years from every corner of the globe." Now there's a few words in here that are interesting. Family Vault. Vault is something we usually would describe something we keep very precious things that are very valuable. So in this family vault, it seems like they've kept some really valuable items. The second word, interestingly, in here is within this room like artifacts. That word artifacts. Artifacts are things usually from the past that people have used. They're usually objects. So examples of an artifact in this room might be the sword or the suit of armor or some of the other things that we're going to look at closely. Artifacts of great power as well. So perhaps these are magical objects. And rarity. Rarity just means, and it's coming from that root word rare, things that you might not find very many of. Okay, so they're quite, if something is rare, it's not something you're going to see every day. It's something that's going to be difficult to find. Things like treasure. Rare object in this picture, for example, might be something like the dragon skull behind, because maybe it's difficult to find dragons in this world. So if something's rare, it's not something you're going to find very easily. Now, if we look nice and closely at the image, hopefully the picture that you get online is as detailed as mine. There are lots of different things, there are lots of different things going on in this image. It looks as if we have got some sort of helmets here. There's a chest, there's more of those runes that I spoke about before. We've got Mr. Brownstone in his nice suit. Oh, there's a candle here and some sort of, I'm not even sure what that is. It's some sort of jar sort of thing going on. There's a little cloud. Very strange things in this room. Lots and lots of books, candles. So I wonder if there's candles in here. Maybe it's not from the current time when we've got electricity. Maybe it's something from the olden days when people didn't have, electricity. It looks to me like, as I said before, we have a dragon skull here. Anything else we can see? There's very strange things here with little faces on. Not sure what these creatures are. This big suit of armor at the front. Something here that might be dangerous or incredibly valued because it's chained up and even has a lock on it. There's more books. A strange looking bird. What do we have on the other side? Oh, another sort of suit of armor. But maybe that might be something used for people to go underwater because it looks like there's a little viewing hole here for them. There's some crystals. There's a jar. Another little weird looking cyclops owl over there. A skull with a candle coming out as well. But there is actually, oh look, there is actually a lamp over here, so maybe it's not too far in the past. And then some little urns here, urns or jars with some sorts of drawings on. They look very fragile. I wouldn't want to hold one of those in case it broke. And also, I'm not sure if you can see, I could see on the book earlier, but it's not come up very well. There looks to be a sword in the stone here. So that's another interesting thing. Maybe you can think about the story that comes from, the sword in the stone. Another strange object here covered in some sort of cloak here. Looks like it has eyes. And then finally there's a golden hand up here. Very interesting. Right then guys, today's learning objective is to retrieve information and make inferences from an illustration. So just like in the previous lesson, you're looking at the information, you're taking the facts and you're explaining what you can see. Your task today is to identify different objects in the family vault. So, what I'm expecting to see: an adjective or many adjectives if possible, and expanded noun phrases if possible. So examples include peculiar, which just means strange, ancient, which is just a better synonym for the word old, and dusty, or anything else you can find that would be really interesting. Prepositions of place. If you can't remember what a preposition is, don't worry. Preposition sounds like position. That's how I always try to remember it, which tells you where something can be found. For example, the pencil was on the table, or something is behind the wall. Also, if you could start some sentences that begin with fronted adverbials, for example, interestingly, I can see something, 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 that will really up-level your work. And finally, if you want a challenge, you could have an even better if, an embedded clause. If you don't know what that is and it sounds a bit scary, don't worry. It is quite simple. You're just using commas and you're including a middle clause, sorry, clause, not Santa Claus, but a clause that adds some extra information. Or you can use parenthesis, it's up to you. The suit of armour that is hidden behind an enormous pillar was rusted and worn with time. Now, the point of an embedded clause is what the information found within the commas, if you were to delete that and get rid of it, the sentence would still make sense. So watch this. The suit of armour was rusted and worn with time. But if I bring it back, the suit of armour that is hidden behind an enormous pillar, comma, was rusted and worn with time. Both make sense. So, I might start by magpieing Mr. Nash's word for the functive adverbial interestingly. So I might start with interestingly. Oops daisy, comma. I can see. Oh, I could use that word peculiar or ancient. Again, I'm going to use things from the success criteria because that's what they're there for. If I want to up-level them later with better words, I can do that. So I might just magpie a few of these. I can see a peculiar suit of armour. Is it hidden behind Mr. Brownstone? I better look at my picture. It's standing, I think. Standing behind Mr. Brownstone. I've spelled standing wrong, haven't I? Thank you, Microsoft Word. Standing behind Mr. Brownstone. So, what have I included so far? I've included a functive adverbial. Have I included any adjectives? Yep, I've used one. Have I included a preposition? Yes, I have. Okay, so I've got 3 of them done. That's brilliant. I'm going to still keep using them though. I'm not going to use them once because I'm really going to prove to Mr. Nash if I use them several times correctly, that really shows I understand what I'm doing. So, interestingly, I can see a peculiar suit of armour standing behind Mr. Brownstone. It has an illustration. Let me look at that dragon. I think it's quite a scary looking dragon, if it is a dragon. It has an illustration of a ferocious dragon drawn in ink that is red like blood. So I've also included a simile there. Let me read it through to make sure it makes sense, because a good writer always checks through their work. It has an illustration of a ferocious dragon drawn in ink that is red like blood. Interesting. Now, if I'm going to add some more information here, I might try another sentence starter. Something like, in addition, because here I'm just adding more information. In addition, there is a long, or not there is, it has maybe. It has a long cape. Now, maybe you could think about describing that cape. I don't want to do too much work for you. ... So maybe you could finish off that sentence for me. What else do we notice about it? Think about the colour. If you look really closely above that sword, it almost looks like there's a little cat face in there. So there's maybe a peculiar, remember it means strange, a peculiar cat emerging from the suit of armour. So I might also say here, I also notice, comma, that there is a peculiar looking cat emerging, just means coming out of, emerging from the suit of armour. Now I've just noticed I've used peculiar twice, and that's okay, but now that we're in year 4, we have to be careful that we don't repeat the same thing over and over again. Okay, so if I keep using peculiar here, my reader's going to become very bored of reading the same word over and over again. So I might not say there is a peculiar cat. Maybe I could say strange. Let's look closely at it. Is it? How could we describe that cat? Is it cute? Is it beautiful? So think about the appropriate word. I'm going to go strange because I've never seen a cat coming out of a suit of armour before. Maybe it's not even a cat. Maybe it's a kitten. A strange looking kitten emerging from the suit of armour. So if I was you, if you're doing this on Microsoft Word, that's fine. You can make as many mistakes as you want and just cut them out and delete them. If you're writing on paper, that's also fine. You can just, you can put a line through work. As I say, I tend not to use a rubber because it means I can show the learning journey that I've gone on to get to where I'm getting. So Oh, there goes my emails. So if you can, write me as many sentences as you want to describe what you can see in the room. Remember, there is loads of different things on there. So give that a good go. Send it over to me, please, and I will have a little mark of it from there. Thank you, guys, and I will see you very soon.